in fact. So I'm a graduate, I'm an alumni myself from Flinders University, and have been working here in careers, as I said, since 1997. So that's about 27 years working in careers. So I mentioned that we have many campuses. So we're on the city campus, but the Bedford Park campus and Tonsley are also on the lands of the Kaurna people. But you'll see that Flinders University has a presence really right across South Australia and Australia, and we do acknowledge elders past, present and emerging across all of those traditional lands that you can see there right through to Larrakia up in Darwin. So Flinders certainly has a very wide reach. And the beautiful campuses we're very fortunate to have. So I'm going to run through just a few things to keep in mind for your careers, and welcome to all of those coming in. And you might find, well, isn't it a bit strange we're talking about careers and I haven't even gone into week 1 yet. But the point that we would make is that there's a lot of things that you can be doing right now that's going to really help you and drive your career success. So it's a project to keep in mind and work at progressively over your time here at Flinders University. Now, there are differences across sectors, but there are some disciplines where the final years right now are applying for graduate programs that are going to start next year. Now, that's not across the board. Midwifery, it's different time frames. Other areas have different, education has different time frames when you're applying for jobs. But in some areas, you know, they're getting started right now on doing those final applications for next year. But the thing is, it's about who do I want to be by the time I'm reaching that final year of my studies. What sorts of things might I do between now and then that's going to help me get ready to be successful, have that security, have that peace of mind, and just to know that you're market ready. So that's some of the things that I want to cover today. There's a bit of a standard, some couple of standard slides. Hi, come on in. So we are not a physical presence, so we don't have a sort of service area as such. We're on your Okta dashboard. We're the Graduate Career Readiness team, and you'll find us as CareerHub. Has anyone found it yet? Yep. And I do invite you, open up your devices, feel free to go in there and have a look around CareerHub as we're chatting in the next sort of time frame. Okay, and hopefully you're getting around the Wi-Fi and all of that kind of stuff. So this is what you'll see when you go into CareerHub. Right across the top, you'll see you can navigate from your application resources, career support, all the different forms of that, what's on, events. There's a ton of stuff. We're going to have a look at some of that. Career planning resources and also innovation and future skills. If you're looking at what can I do to demonstrate I've got the skills employers are going to be looking for in my world. Or some of you might be thinking about your own business, and we've got the New Venture Institute's got a whole pile of stuff that they can help you with. You might be very much focused on, I need to get a job. Who is looking for a casual job right now? Anyone? Yep. Okay. So we'll talk about that. But employers put jobs directly onto CareerHub, and you can set up your job alerts there, and also follow us on Instagram, because we can, we send out, interesting jobs, events and things that's going to connect you to that world of work. So plenty of resources that you can tap into at any point. So we'll have a look at some of those bit by bit. But let's just take a little moment for you just to think about, who am I right now here today? And what is this whole thing called career development? Which career development sits across your learning, your leisure, your work, and it's lifelong. It's all of those things. So it's really knowing who you are. What are your drivers? What do you value? What are your strengths? What are your interests? What's your personality? What are your values? What's important to you? Where's that taking you? What are the options? So something sparked your interest to go into all the very diverse areas of study that we heard you're doing. But what sparked that interest? What are your hopes and aspirations? What might be out there? What might some of those jobs look like? What might you be doing? So you can start some research right now and to start exploring what might that be. Because that's then going to tell you, what are those skills they're looking for? What sorts of experiences might help me stand out? Is there anything I can start tapping into now while I study? You know, it might be vacation work. It might be a summer research award. It might be an entry-level job. So what can I do now that's going to really start to build that? How can I make some sector connections? So at the moment, you're busy making peer connections, perhaps getting to know people who are going to be in your study world. Take time, get to know your teaching staff as well, because they've got sector connections. So you can learn from them and their take on the world that you want to enter. So start to think about what's close at hand that I can start doing, because that's then all going to funnel into, how do I present myself to this world? How do I relate my brand, who I am, what I can do, the value that I might bring? What are my points of difference? How might you nurture those over the next few years whilst you're studying? And then it's just a continuous cycle. People will change jobs, people will change careers. We've got all the data about that as we're going into the fifth industrial revolution. I think we're somewhere between the fourth and the fifth, but the World Economic Forum's got some great information on that if you want to tap into any of that. So it's that constant process, but to really encourage you to think about, who am I right now? And we use this 4-part circle to help you, if you like, divide yourself into 4 components. So we've talked a little bit about what's brought you into this course of study. Some of you might have studied before. For some of you, this might be your first higher education study. Maybe some of you have done certificates or diplomas or some other learning. So think about all the learning. As you go through that, start to think about, are there subjects that are appealing to me more than others? You know, where do I get that sense of flow and energy and enjoyment? And how might that fit with job possibilities ahead? What sector experience? What experience can I develop related to my degree? Now, you might be in a course where there are course placements. So midwifery will certainly have that. Education will have that. So there might be course placement opportunities. There might be entry-level work opportunities, casual jobs that relate to what you're studying, more formal vacation work programs and things like that. But don't overlook if you have casual employment as well. So employers value that. They can see that you've got customer service skills, time management skills, you can work in a team, you can work under pressure. So the casual jobs say a lot. And if you have prior career experience, that's part of your unique story as well. So really value that. Who are you when you aren't working or studying? What do you do in that space? And there can be a lot of really active roles in that space. Volunteering on campus, being a topic representative, taking a role in a club or society. It could be being involved in the community, in sport, music, artistic. You know, think about what are your unique sets of interests. So you can demonstrate transferable skills from every part of this. And when you relate who you are, that tell me about yourself question, you can draw on all of those elements. But it can also show you, if you benchmark yourself right now and just write down everything you can think of across those 4 areas, are there gaps? Are there some areas that you want to develop? Okay, and that's where, graduate career readiness team can come in and maybe help you figure out what some of those things might be. Okay, so just keep that 4-part circle in mind. It's something you can check in with regularly to go, well, what have I added? I remember speaking to a student and they were in the first year and they were thinking about the years ahead. I think they were in a 4-year pathway, and they actually mapped out semester 1, year 1, semester 2, year 2, and started making some notes about things that they might do across all of those years of study that would be building employability. Okay, so just some ideas there. Let's keep having a look into that. So on CareerHub, you'll have a section where we got a page for most of the areas of study. And so we list employers, we list places where you can search for work, we list professional associations as well. So most areas of study will have some kind of professional organisation that advocates, lobbies, educates, updates that sector. And often student membership can be quite reduced. So if that's an option for you, you could consider joining a professional association or at least following their news. Maybe that could be something else down the track. We might have discipline-specific resumes there for you and cover letters and things you can have a look at there, as well as our more general resources. So it's a bit of a one-stop shop launching platform to start to think about, well, who might be some of the employers in my world? And then you can start to think about, well, who's on my top list of employers I might really want to work for one day. You can start following them on their social media. You can start monitoring jobs in your sector. We'll talk about that as well. But that's a good place to start, those course-specific resources, to really orientate yourself around what is this degree, what's it doing, who might it connect with, who can I connect with? Advertise jobs. So as I've mentioned, employers will put jobs directly onto CareerHub that may not appear elsewhere. And Tracy, who does our student engagement work, runs the Instagram. And so if there's really interesting opportunities, she'll put that out to you on the Instagram. So you can set up your job alerts here on CareerHub so you get notified. And I think that's a really useful strategy as well, is thinking about potential employers you might want to join and go onto their careers page, their jobs page, and sign up and join their talent community. You're getting that constant pipeline of information about the qualification, knowledge and skills that they're looking for. Okay. And again, we have jobs at all levels, casual jobs, discipline sector related jobs whilst you study, as well as the graduate jobs and jobs that can blend a bit of the degree and experience. So very useful. And these are just some of the other job boards, depending on the sector that you're in, that you can start sort of following jobs on. Again, you can set up your profile, and just have the jobs come to you. So, you can start to go, okay, I like the sound of this. I'm not as into that. So you just constantly checking out what could be there for you and what you enjoy. So again, that's just one example there where you can go through, highlight those key skills, and you'll see most employers, they'll talk about the technical skills, but there's a whole lot of transferable skills, communication skills, teamwork skills, problem-solving skills, initiative, and those sorts of skills you can showcase from a range of areas of your life. But job adverts are a really great source of information. So what are some of the things that you can do? And we've just got a few ideas here, and hopefully through Orientation Week and Connect Week, you'll have a chance to explore some more of these. We've talked a bit about professional associations. You can also chat to your teaching staff here. Are they a member of an association? What would they recommend? Even just following free news in your sector, you can start to sign up. If you're studying business, follow things like the In Daily Business News or, Australian Financial Review. So go beyond, take an interest. Who's doing what in your sector? Who's expanding? Who's innovating? Who's getting awards? Who do you want to take note of? There's a ton of stuff you can just get started with locally here at Flinders. So you've got all your clubs and societies. You could put your hand up to be a topic representative, a student representative. So that's a great way to start developing some leadership skills, learn more about the university, be a spokesperson for your peers, and also to get to know academic and professional staff. So look for those opportunities. There's also mentoring opportunities. There's the Inspire Mentor program. There could be opportunities to mentor first year students as you progress through into second year and beyond. You might have placements. There might be volunteering. Oasis Wellbeing Centre has volunteering for things like Flinders Mate, Flinders Market, wellbeing ambassador roles. That's just some more examples right locally on campus. But there might be things that are, again, interests that you have. Again, sporting, artistic, music, community, social, whatever those interests are. And you might be able to actively pursue those, whilst you're studying over your time here at Flinders. Some volunteering is a longer term commitment, some of it less so. So some students might volunteer with Fred's Van, helping homeless people get a meal once a month. Some people might help out with a annual event like the Mother's Day Classic, raising funds for breast cancer, ovarian cancer, and help out with the mechanics of running the event. Cheering people on, helping with registrations. So small things, small steps can build into bigger steps. So think about your interests. And again, it's also that work-life study balance for you, making sure you get good time out as well. But that time out can also showcase qualities and skills about you. So there's a few ideas there. Valuing any casual jobs that you do. We've talked about how employers love those transferable skills. There could be formal paid internships, clerkships, summer research awards. It all depends a little bit what area you're studying, but to keep an eye out for those opportunities as well. So just think about, what might I do? What appeals to me? What am I currently doing? You might be working, you might be engaged in sport, dance, or other things. So think about your current schedule, but think about the time ahead through your years of study. So we do cover some volunteering opportunities on CareerHub as well, but we also have a page and we've got loads of links to volunteering directories, and on some course pages we'll have some more specific examples. Midwifery would be one of those, and education and some of those areas, health, medical, and those sorts of things too. Okay, so staying in touch with those vacancies. I talked a little bit about following sector news. So there's a lot of free sign-ups you could do. If you're into human resources, there's HR Daily. Every sector, there'll be news that you can follow. You can even add that into the interest section of your resume. So and when I mention the resume, you might have a resume version of yourself that's to apply for casual jobs, but you want to start developing that professional brand resume as the teacher, the midwife, the computer specialist, whatever that means for you. Start to design that professional version of you and keep that updated, because you just never know when you might need it. But that's also when you can include, I'm a member of this organisation, or I follow this news, because I care about my sector, I'm interested, I'm motivated, and I want to learn. That's what that says to the employer. That's just a couple of examples of those professional associations, but there's certainly an association for most, if not all, areas of study. But check it out, and check out what the student fees are for that as well. And then with all of that, you might find that opportunity that you really want to apply for. So that resume, you can utilise templates. We've got samples. As I've mentioned, we've got course-specific resources. We've got the Flinders Big Interview. So we purchase software so you can just go onto that platform, record yourself and run through mock interviews, and there's a whole interview curriculum. So we've located all of those key resources for all of those major areas and recruitment technologies and methods that you might encounter when you're applying for work. But set yourself some goals. Don't leave it to the last minute. Over the course of your studies, for that professional version of you, you'll be wanting to nurture the contacts who could become your referees. So through any kind of course placement or experience, your academic contacts. So start to keep that in mind as well. So we've got a whole range of different career resources. We have a page for international students. We have specialised service for students living with disability. We've got pages for postgraduate students. So there's a lot of resources on there. Now, coming up on the 3rd of March, next Monday at Bedford, we've got a Work Whilst You Study event. So there'll be a few presentations, I think, but it's also just like downstairs, lots of employers at their various stands are keen to recruit students. So we've got a whole range of employers from different areas coming to that. So if you're looking for that Work Whilst You Study, that's a good one to come along to on Monday. That's all on our events page, what's on, and also you follow that on Instagram. We've also got career festivals coming up. Now, we do a lot of these big festivals through the year. March has a focus with, you'll see the first one's business, government and corporate services. And then the 27th at Tonsley is STEM. But there are still employers who come to those events who recruit from all disciplines. Okay, so that's just something else to be aware of. The other thing with those, and you might say, oh, but I'm not in those areas. As I said, some of them recruit from all areas, and you can also get yourself a free LinkedIn headshot that you can utilise. So we bring in a photographer and just make sure you're dressed nice and professionally, and they'll do that free headshot for you at those events. As we go through the year, there's other events for education. We do a community, health and community festival, nursing midwifery showcase day. So there's a lot of other theme things through the year. Job confidence in a nutshell. So we've got lots of workshops and things like that as you go. So best thing to do, connect with us, as I've mentioned, on Instagram to stay up to date with all things careers. And that's just like a bit of an overview. Be curious. Be curious about your career. Explore what those opportunities might look like. Really tap into the events, workshops, supports, and resources that we've got for you. Now, in our portfolio, we also have the New Venture Institute. They were downstairs earlier. So you might be interested in your own enterprise, but they also have a lot of skills workshops and training programs. So there's weekly sessions, future skills workshops. That can be a nice addition to the resume. Maybe try a few of those. And Exchanger, Insider Exchange, Thought Exchange. So they're doing some really, really interesting things. They've previously run a thing called the Horizon Award, and they're going to have, this going to evolve into the Future Skills Award. So there's also the opportunity to sort of pursue those awards whilst you're studying. And you can see just some of the titles there. Digital literacy, leadership, social influence. Again, these are all future skills that employers value. So you can start to learn about those skills and start exploring them and how you might apply them. Okay, so that was sort of the major part of what I wanted to show you there. I will just highlight, as well as the career festivals we're going to have at Tonsley and Bedford Park, and particularly if you're based in the city, but even if you're not. On the 28th of March, just over there in the convention centre, there'll be the big meet. That's an Australian Association of Graduate Employers event, and there's going to be a lot of employers at that one as well. And again, just develop that skill of wandering around those events, introducing yourself. hi, my name's such and such. I've just started studying X, Y, and Z, and I'm really interested to explore, what might some of the options be? And then open up those conversations. That's all you have to do, at that point. Or you can elaborate it a little more and think about that circle diagram and how you might craft that into how you present yourself and your brand. But there's employers across pretty well everywhere. I'm going to need my glasses for this bit. So from the business professions, education, health professions are there, government, state government. Also, some of the casual employers will be there. So Adelaide Oval, Adelaide Venue Management are going to be there. There's some hospitality employers too. So a really good opportunity to start exploring what might be something you want to be aiming for, whether that is a vacation work program, internship, if they have entry-level opportunities, and asking them, what can I do to stand out if I apply to you in 2 years' time? Okay? And that can then inform your planning. So that's just careers in a very, very fast nutshell. Lots of ideas there. But you need to think about what's your world looking like. You need to settle in and make a great start at university, and you've got loads of support services to do that. But it really is just about keeping an eye on the future, because that time at university will really fly. You want to have a fantastic experience and do your very best, but also think about nurturing all aspects of you, that the student, the work, and sector experience you have, those extra things you might do that showcase those amazing skills employers are looking for. So with all of that, are there any questions? And that's fine if there's not. But just give yourself some time, even schedule it in your diary, just to maybe do a little bit of career research, maybe write up that resume so it's ready to go, just so that you just working away at it. Yeah.
Are you able to explain a bit more what associations are and what they do?
Sure. So question here on the professional association. So when I was studying psychology, there was the Australian Psychology Association, and you could join that as a student, and you got discounted rates to go along to professional development. You might be sent a journal and things like that. And then there are other groups, so that some of them are more expensive than others. If people are into science and biology, there's a sort of biology group in South Australia where it's usually about $10 a year membership. Sometimes membership can be offered even free for students. If you're into HR, there's the Australian Human Resources Institute, and again, you might be sent news. You can add it onto your resume that you're a member of that association, and there could be networking events. Some of them do, sometimes mentoring and other programs for students. So on those course-specific pages on CareerHub, we put a few ideas down about professional associations in your sector. They will also lobby for the sector as well. So you might, Australian Nurses Midwifery Federation will lobby perhaps on conditions and pay rates and things like that. So there's a whole range of different associations. So just do a little bit of research. And again, if joining at this stage is a bit expensive, it might be something you do down the track, or you might just choose to follow them on their social media and connect with them that way. But it's starting to make that connection into your professional world. So the employer events are great for that. Following sector news is great for that. Connecting with your teaching staff and, people in your study world is starting to build that future network too. Great question. Any other questions? Are people navigating CareerHub okay? Had a look?
So recently, I'm looking for my part-time job, casual jobs,
Yep.
and I visited some hotels and shops in person, but
Mhm.
they don't get resume in person in a lot of shops. So I just wonder, do I have to only apply online?
Mix up the strategies. So some question there about, getting a casual job. So I'd mix it up. Sometimes, just wandering around, you will see vacancy inquire within. But also it can be that process of the formal application. Okay, so have a resume suitable for casual work, and we've got examples of that on the resume page on CareerHub. And as I've mentioned, at the careers festivals, there are some employers who do the casual employment as well.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Look and seek. Go directly to employer web pages to see again if you can join their talent community. So is there any particular type of casual work you're looking for?
No, just any kind of part-time job like hospitality or
Yep.
restaurant. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. And some of them are perhaps less formal in how they advertise as well. So follow the formals, but also just be prepared to capitalise on those opportunities. Sometimes it can just be getting a start. So recruitment agencies like Pinnacle People, recruit for the large-scale events. And again, things like the Adelaide Venue Management, Adelaide Oval, we're gearing up into the footy season. We're just clearing the cricket season. So they all could be recruiting people for, those event days. And then that can lead on to other opportunities as well.
Yeah, thank you.
So, and just let everyone in your world know that's what you're looking for. If you're an international student, I do encourage you to connect with Study Adelaide. They've got a job shop, so opportunities are advertised there as well. So just have a look at whatever is relevant for you. Flinders University have casual registers, so there are, jobs in the library at Bedford, Flinders Connect, and student casual registers. So just another avenue to cover as well. Depending on which campus you're at, some of the hospitals will be recruiting for staff like food services assistants and things like that. And sometimes that's through the facility services managers, like Downer is one of them, ISS is another one. So we do have a dedicated page for Work Whilst You Study where we've got a lot of these links. So again, that can sort of give you a little bit of a springboard, I should say, to start checking out those opportunities as well. But you can reach us via Ask Flinders. Just nominate Careers Hub as the area if there's sort of any other questions that come up for you, and we can get back to you pretty quickly via that Ask Flinders channel. Any other questions? So, really enjoy that study experience. Flinders has a lot of great service support. So think about as assembling your own team. It might be for study support or other aspects of support. And you've got the Career Hub 24/7 resources available for you as well, plus loads of events to get in touch with. So just make sure you just keep that eye on the future and how you are progressing towards your own goals. So wish you all the very best for your time here at Flinders, and do reach out to us if you have any questions. So thank you very much for showing that interest in your future career and